this is, there's some technical pieces in here, but it's going to be more of a company update, what's going on with instantiations, different from, what we've done many years in the past. This is more, we'll talk a little bit about culture within the company, open up, the inside a little bit more and just talk about our company. I've reviewed some of the presentations in the past, and it's mostly, we did this, and we'll try to provide a little more insight into how we operate as a company, and therefore why we make the kind of decisions that we make. Okay, so in this session I'll cover quite a few topics. First, as we said, just want to let you know who Instantiations is now. And then that will be followed up by touching on our company's primary core value and why we think that's important to us as we operate. I'll also talk about how we're growing as a company. And next is an update in our FinTech line and why that matters, really to all VAST users. And finally, what's upcoming for VAST and sort of where we're headed in the future. And then, of course, I'll certainly be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, so who's Instantiations now? So this is important because there's been 3 instantiations of instantiations, and we're currently on the 3rd incarnation. And so there's a large continuity of from a founder's perspective. However, I took over the company about, I think, almost 7 years at this point, and that was handed off to me by one of the founders of the company, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. Didn't have a very long retirement, I'm afraid, but he was a great mentor, and so now I'm running it today, and a lot of those values that were shared continue on. Okay, so one of our central core values, and we truly believe in this, and it really hasn't changed over the years, is people, and by extension, the teams they are a part of. And so I'll kind of explain this a little bit in more detail. So we ensure at the company we maintain a strong culture with highly skilled and motivated engineers committed to customer success. So I think that's a big distinction to make there. We're very technical folks. We love the tech we're working with, but we also have an orientation towards making sure our customers succeed. And our staff is sort of a tightly knit group that support each other, our well-being, our development paths, with high levels of collaboration and engagement. So kind of without the wonderful staff that we have, Instantiations simply wouldn't exist in the current form that it is. And we would actually struggle ourselves to reflect what we proclaim as our core value, which is people. Okay, so our customers are crucial to our success, and we believe Instantiations is instrumental in their success too. So we strive to contribute to that success in a number of ways. Most of those ways involve our staff having a good understanding of customer needs and delivering high value, high quality support and product features to fulfill it. So as a result, our customer interactions tend to be very relational, and focused on customers' long-term success instead of a more transactional approach with a more short-term focus. For example, just like making the sale. That's not really how we typically approach things. So we would claim this customer relational approach to business has played a key role in our long-term success strategy. Okay. So regarding the community, we're all stronger as a result of the Smalltalk community. We're happy to be a part of it and kind of give back wherever possible by sponsoring events like this one, and contributing code to open source projects when we can. So again, our relational business model, with its strategic emphasis on people, has led to happier staff, happier customers, community involvement, and the continued expansion of the company with new opportunities over the years. So we have a business case for this. Okay, so now with all that said, what's the result of instantiations continually putting value on people? Not unexpectedly, it's resulted in new opportunities that have been years in the making, which has allowed us to evolve in a positive direction, meaning we're able to grow, serve new markets, as well as our existing core markets even better. Okay, so Instantiations has been growing for some time in order to meet some new and exciting demands. We acquired a new business line. I spoke about this a bit at the previous conference in a very limited detail. However, at this point, we're almost a year into the takeover of a new business line. As part of this new business, we've been heavily expanding the size of the company and size of the staff at the company. We have a very talented and dedicated team that joined us this year. One of them's here, Shannon McLaurin. Appreciate that he's able to show up, and we wanted him to have exposure to the great, wonderful folks in the community. And so basically, we've hired more staff to join the VAST engineering team as well, which is now led by Mariano Martinez-Peck. And the latest hire who's joining us next year, January 1, is Johan Rishu. And we're very excited about that. And he's obviously with us today. So the VAST engineering team did an awesome job with the more recent release of the VAST platform, and they're hard at work just finalizing the next version, which is the VAST platform 2025. And our VAST customers are going to continue to see sort of the tremendous benefits of this trajectory. We've got new staff to help Instantiations continue to grow in organizational and operational maturity. Greg Schultz, who's not here today, but some of you have met him before, is responsible for this part of the company. He's our Vice President of Growth and Operations. So in the areas of security and risk management, we brought in a CISO, which is a Chief Information Security Officer, to help with new security requirements, to help mitigate risks for the company and other business-wide improvements. Again, we have a really fantastic staff, bringing on new fantastic members, and it's just, at the end of the day, it just helps us serve our customers that much better. So another part of making all this possible is continuing to add to the solid foundation of all the products, such as VAST, with new technologies. So we're big, I think as folks know, and Mariana kind of showed, we're not just about maintaining solid software, we're about pushing the edge and continuing to push the edge and modernizing our solid software. So concerning VAST, we've talked about tech like Rust being the backbone of our Unicode framework within our virtual machine already. And we've added even more performance, stability and usability improvements in VAST 2024, which was released in March. So if you've used VAST in recent years, you know that it's extremely stable and performant, and that trend's only going to continue. We're even starting initiatives to improve our customer experience all around, even in the ways that we carry out our relationship with them. We teamed up with some technical partners of ours in Raleigh, North Carolina, to help us build 2 custom ITSM customer portals for our 2 core business lines. So we're always working hard to deliver, a better customer experience, which includes both products and services. And other operational improvements are ongoing as well. As part of growing our organizational maturity, and with the help of our CISO and a third-party auditing firm, we've just attained, about a week ago, after about a year of auditing, we've just attained our SOC 2 attestation. And at a high level, SOC 2 is a framework for cybersecurity protection. It's sort of a subset of ISO 27001 that includes built-in company-wide audits to confirm our ongoing compliance. So, and this is all for working with those customers in more demanding industries that must adhere to strict regulations. So we're excited about this investment because we sincerely want our customers to have that level of trust in us that, in terms of not just how we conduct ourselves operationally, but they can trust us in things like if we have their data, right, that we know how to handle said data. So in order to build and maintain and sort of enhance, the support of VAST and the fintech applications, it takes kind of a wide range of skills, languages, frameworks, many. Well, we'll see how this goes. To get those done and delivered. So, as a result, we have the skills on staff to help us with a really wide range of customer needs. So over the last few years, we've had an uptick in companies reaching out to us to see what additional engagement opportunities we could offer them. So in fact, that's the fintech business line, our engagement with one of our customers, involved engagement. However, as we've been internally reflecting on how customers are seeking to engage with us, we've been building out sort of these formalized umbrella of services that cover the spectrums of needs that we're seeing in the market. And sort of as a result, we've been working with many of our VAST customers in ways that go beyond the support of the VAST platform itself. Our fintech clients, as they are getting to know us better, are expressing the same desire, and these kinds of activities are beginning to occur as well. Sometimes customers need more specialized help than what we can offer with our standard support. So it may be helping them with specific application issues as they arise, and working more closely with their development team and have the right contractual arrangements in place to be able to do that. We've assisted in helping customers migrate to the latest versions of VAST. And in doing so, we often work hard to improve their system in a way that leaves them, makes it easier for them to upgrade the next time. So we try to help them, so that they're in a good position moving forward. And there are really all sorts of reasons that we see them reach out to us, but essentially it comes down to working more closely with the customer teams and having an appropriate arrangement in place to use one of our core VAST engineers to work directly on the customer systems. So we've had customers in both business lines that wish to have a specific feature developed and supported for them in the long term. And this usually requires a bit of discernment for everybody involved, because Instantiations has to answer questions like, is this feature appropriate for the core product, or is it more of a domain-specific feature that needs to be developed on top of the product? Do we feel comfortable supporting the feature for the long term? What impact will this have as the product evolves? And customers have to answer questions like, are the constraints of how Instantiations have to develop this feature acceptable? Is the value there given the level of effort and time and cost to build it? So we have those conversations, and if it is, we enjoy being the ones to be able to help them. Training opportunities are not anything new, but we never had an appropriate training course that we could run. So that's all changing by the end of the year. We have an Instantiations developed training program that we've run internally with a couple of folks at this point, and we're very pleased with the results. So this will help in situations where new teams are rolling on to support existing VAST systems, but they don't quite have the expertise in VAST and Smalltalk to get going quickly. So we're going to be ready to answer that call. So there are more services to come, or tweaks to existing services that the leadership team is considering all the time. And so we'll certainly announce those as they become available. There we go. Okay, beyond just growing the company itself and the services we provide, we've been expanding how we interact with the community and our customers. So for example, just last month, we recently created a new event that we debuted in Europe called the VAST Platform Summit. So the VAST Summit was designed to be short, but an impactful single-day event with ample time for networking and reconnecting with community members and them reconnecting with each other. The first one was held in Stuttgart, Germany last month. And even though one might think we would only get attendance from those who were kind of located in Europe, which is actually what we thought, we actually got quite a bit of global pull from this event too. And the summit, as well as future events like it, kind of give us a unique way to open direct and in-person lines of communication with our customers. So we found it gives us and them a huge amount of insight into how we can all work better together. And also importantly, one of the takeaways was most of our customers, while they've been committed to us for a very long time, really enjoyed that chance to get to talk with each other. Sometimes there's the sense that our customers are sort of in a vacuum, alone by themselves. And so this was a critical event to show, no, there's a lot of teams out there with mission critical systems. They're being used, they're important systems, and this allowed a place where they could talk to each other and they could see that, and sort of ultimately that created a lot of energy. Okay, and that said, let's talk a little bit more about our new business line, which is in financial technology, in fintech. So everyone at the company has been extremely supportive and excited about this. Instantiations is now directly supporting many of the largest financial institutions in the United States and Canada on very mission critical systems that use a suite of products that we now have taken over support of, and which will be continuing to improve and modernize off into the future, very much the play we make with VAST. These products are supported by our amazing fintech staff in a 24/7 capacity. So the business acquisition took about 2 years to finalize, very long, and it officially began on January 1st of this year. So it certainly took a lot of time and energy and really trust from everybody involved. I'm personally, I said this last time, but I'm very thankful to our entire staff for the patience and how supportive they were throughout this process, because in retrospect, 2 years is a very long time of investment and uncertainty when the deal hasn't, quote, gone through yet, right? But we kind of wanted to always move at a pace that left Instantiations and the entire, all the folks at it convinced that this was a beneficial move for everyone. And so here's the really exciting part. In addition to some other languages and technologies, many of these products, in fact, most of them, are implemented using the VAST platform. And because of this, and who we happen to be, it represents a unique value proposition for our fintech customers. Because Instantiations has both the application domain experts and the platform runtime engineers at the company. And so this is a kind of an unusual situation in the industry to have that full stack of capability by one company. So this dual capability allows us to deliver really high levels of integration and optimization opportunities at speed, because we have the ability to make these changes across the entire stack, from the top of the application domain through the core libraries, the virtual machine, runtime, the bare metal, down to the bare metal, with infrastructure and people in place to be able to support all of this. For example, we could enforce stringent security measures, which is a big deal for us now, at every level of the technical stack as part of what we deliver. This is ultimately this is a win-win, because our fintech customers get this incredible support capability from one company, and in turn, Instantiations can make relevant business investments in multiple business lines at the same time. So we believe this creates a very special and unique value proposition in the industry. Okay, so for some fintech updates, let's see. So we continue to bring on new customers into our fintech product line since its launch in early 2024. And we're engaging with existing fintech customers in custom solutions to meet the needs of their financial system. So this has actually been a really, I don't know if it was unexpected, but it's been really nice that not only did we bring on really most all the business, will be closing what we expected and more by the end of this year, but in fact, they've already engaged with us in ways that they like working with us. That seems to be the takeaway from the 11 months that we've been doing this. They like working with us. They want to work more with us. So we're getting more business. So this is also a big win for our VAST clients, well, for many reasons. But the first, is the FinTech business line further solidifies the importance and the longevity of the VAST platform. So not only are our customers using it for their organizations and their customers, but we're using VAST ourselves to directly support customers with real-world mission-critical applications. So another way to think about it is we've essentially become a customer of ourselves, and therefore we're definitely better positioned to understand and empathize with the evolving needs of our broader customer set. And this has the net effect of allowing us to serve them better, since we're sort of more on a parallel journey with them. Also, we have more resources to invest in VAST, as it remains a central technology in our FinTech product stack for the long term. Our VAST customers will get even more value out of their customer experience with us as we continue to heavily invest in VAST. And sort of this has already been demonstrated this year with the investment of the VAST Customer Portal, which is a custom-developed ITSM solution, which raises the bar sort of in our service by providing a far more professional support experience than the tools really would have allowed us to do before. So we're absolutely convinced the relationship of these two business lines is allowing Instantiations the opportunity to serve all of our customers even better for the long term, while continuing to sort of maintain our market focus. And we've kind of already seen indications that this is true. So we have lots of VAST customers that have invested in us for many long years, and so we, in turn, look forward to continuing to provide even more value to them, continuing to work with us. So we think it's a really great story all around. It gives VAST platform a continued bright and stable future, and we will continue to push the edge and modernize it and help our customers get more value. Okay, so what's coming up for Instantiations? Well, sort of at a very high level, we're kind of constantly reviewing what we can do to sort of improve ourselves and the complete suite of products that we now care for, such as the VAST platform and the FinTech products. We're in a growth phase at the moment, and that will continue for the foreseeable future. So it's a really exciting time for Instantiations, and we're looking forward to the new possibilities that will result from it. That said, the management team at Instantiations is carefully monitoring this growth because we want to always ensure sustainability, and that, of course, is more important to us than the growth itself in many respects. So we'll have this continued emphasis on what we value as a company. Again, it's a focus on our customers, our community, our staff. This is ultimately what has brought us success, and we believe it will be a recipe for continued success. And we sort of found that solutions tend to fall into place when you prioritize putting the right people in the right places, doing right by people, doing good business with others, and sort of being involved. So I know we've talked about this before, but every community, Smalltalk included, needs infusion of new ideas. For us, this means getting inspired by great technologies and approaches and sort of lessons learned from others and adapting them to the needs of VAST and Instantiations. I know we were talking earlier today about AI. I mean, that's no exception as we continue to learn about that and invest ourselves. And also like the lessons we learned from languages such as Dart and Rust and Swift, which have provided some great building blocks and tools for our asynchronous frameworks, our Unicode support library, and we'll continue looking outward for new lessons. And with the sort of exchange of information plus our continuous R&D, we'll keep bringing new things to the table. VAST is a great platform that can integrate with lots of various technologies. Web-based capabilities becoming more and more important. We'll be focusing on new communications technologies and protocols, and our new async technology as part of this too. And so these are kind of the use cases we're optimizing for, because this is where a lot of active development is happening for our customers. So we'll still continue to address sort of all layers of our stack for thick client applications where there's demand to do so as well. But we must anticipate sort of future needs for development, even if they kind of lie outside the norm. Okay, so one of the future-looking needs we started investing in heavily is AI. And to be clear, we're not investing because it's popular, as we were kind of talking about earlier today, but because we see some real true value in the technology that can help instantiations and really, at the end of the day, our customers. So we forged some new partnerships with companies that want to work with us on integrating the next generation of AI solutions for VAST, fintech, and other markets. And we're going to be working with them on a number of discovery projects planned for 2025, and one's actually already begun here in 2024. So, some other examples are, the focus of the kinds of problems we solve and where the discoveries kind of will lie will be, help keep knowledge of systems current over time, help with training and knowledge transfer. So we kind of talked about, basically making impossible tasks possible. I think that was kind of more or less reflected in some of the things I was talking about earlier on the AI panel, that's a really important value add. I would add that, through talking, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the panel, but one of the big things that a lot of our AI partners are saying is, hey, Seth, we know that AI, we get like 1 million people a day. Hey, I want to use AI. I want to use AI. Really, you shouldn't start there. You should start with what's the value proposition, as you look through your customers and what are their pain points. And now determine, given those pain points, what's the value of applying AI, if any, and they did caution against that. They said it may not be appropriate, and we need to figure that out. But there are going to be places where it is, and so that should be where we're focused. And so I think someone said, maybe it was Elliot, about a hammer, and we're not just wanting to take AI and run around and see what we can shove it into. We really want to be clear about the value behind this. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little more clarity on Instantiations as a company, kind of what we're involved in, what we care about, how we see what it means to do good business, and why that's important more than just we are nice people and want to care, but we're actually making the business case for this, and through living that out, we see it leads to good things. And so that's who we are, and certainly if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. The first one is if you could comment a little bit more about what's the functionality that the fintech offers. Are there products? Are there products for bonds, for trading, cash flow?
Say they're mostly a suite of products. And a lot of them are kind of back office product suites, those kinds of things, not so much client-facing types of things.
Are they products out of the shelf, or are specialized for customers?
I would say that they're so it is a product. Kind of tier 1 banks are all using them, but there are also some specializations as well that are provided. So there's important.
Okay, great. I have another question, if nobody mind. Okay. Yeah. So, what about the AI? Are you going to integrate AI with via Smalltalk, or is just for other things?
No, I think it's all of it. Yeah. I think, I think we're looking to integrate Smalltalk development environment. I think we're looking at solving kind of earlier, holistically, what does it mean to be a team working on a very large system and millions of lines, code base that's been around for 10, 15 years. What does that mean as you need to keep the knowledge the juggle
Okay.
I use. You got to keep the balls up in the air. How can AI play a role in that?
And regarding the support for the developers in Smalltalk, could you comment a little bit more about what kind of support? I mean,
Well, I think so for me, and I can, and when I do the EM Serve presentation, I'll kind of, if I can remember on the fly, I'll kind of talk about how I used AI on certain things, and maybe that'll help, like where I personally see value. But of course, a lot of these discoveries will be around answering some of those questions to say, well, where is the best place? But I do see value both in generation, like personally, like I love the comment generation piece. For whatever reason, the way my mind works, I just like first starting with something and then sort of having something to work with first. Rather, I'm not more of a whiteboard person where I just pull stuff out of the ether. Some people work that way. I don't. So I kind of like to see, comment generation, and then I work with that, and mold it, and then so generation stuff is good. But I also like the kinds of tools that can describe components, architectural components, and those kinds of pieces, and new information on readable text. I think that's a lot of the stuff we're figuring out over time. I don't have the exact prescription at the moment, but yeah.
Seth, are you planning to take this initiative of building a vast community online, like a communication channel where we can share experiences, or is it only a one-time event that you're planning?
That's a good question. So, I mean, I don't know if from my perspective, yeah, go if you have thoughts on that.
So, the only thing we currently have at this point is the BUS forum, which is a Google group, kind of is the place where the community can discuss. But I understand. I mean, the Google group may be okay for certain, like the old mailing lists, but I see the need, or I mean, I see now some people move to some more like chat-oriented discussion, like Slack or Discord. So yeah, it could be something that we can see if there's interest. Our customers certainly could be an option.
Yeah, I think we're definitely looking at more events. I mean, we considered the VAST Summit an incredible success.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that much turnout, to be honest. And then also, I did not. I undervalued perhaps the how much energy was created as a result of the customers talking to each other, and kind of where they were coming from, and realizing that there's a whole community around this, and being a part of that. So especially for us as commercial folks who, like here, and this is part of the great part. I mean, you're here primarily because you love small talk. I mean, it's something that you deeply believe in. And I'm not saying that, the developers that use our product aren't like that. I mean, we certainly have a lot of those. But there's also a lot who, this is their job. They're not necessarily passionate on that level where they're going to show up at a conference. And so for our challenge is always how to incentivize, that situation and make sure that they feel incentivized to want to come. So that's an ongoing thing. But, as we showed with